Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your source for Second Amendment news. We are here at SHOT Show 2020 at the Sands Expo Center in beautiful Las Vegas. I am here with a good friend. You've seen him on the channel before. This is Alan Rice of Gun Owners of America. Alan, thank you for your time.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
So the next topic I was going to bring up, I'm going to actually pause for a second because we're standing in front of something that I'm a big fan of, the Hearing Protection Act. I think that silencers, and some people get mad when they call it silencer even though that's what the invention was called, but suppressors. I believe it's more of a hearing health issue. It's not a scary turn you into a ninja, go shoot up a mall type deal. What does GOA think about the Hearing Protection Act, and what do they maybe plan on doing coming forward?
So again, like the short barrel rifle issue, we're legislative realists. We don't have the votes in this Congress, but we're not giving up. We are committed to dismantling the National Firearms Act one piece at a time. Hearing Protection Act is a public health issue. It's not a gun issue. A firearm makes the noise. A silencer or a sound suppressor reduces, not eliminates, reduces the noise or the sound signature of the firearm. That makes it healthier for people. Hunters don't like to wear hearing protection because they want to hear wild game and movement in the field. Competitive shooters, target shooters, they will wear hearing protection. They'll still need hearing protection because they're firing multiple shots, but the decibel level will be reduced by the use of a sound suppressor. Same deal as the SBRs. $200 tax, 8 to 12 months wait for something that is incapable by itself of discharging a cartridge. It simply reduces the noise of the firearm. We had a chance the first 2 years of the Trump administration with a Republican Congress. Unfortunately, Paul Ryan, despite his party label, is not really a Second Amendment guy. Went nowhere. We're going to try again in January if we get a good election outcome, and hopefully we can get it through and protect people's hearing. People can stop paying $200 and waiting 8 to 12 months to get a sound suppressor to protect their hearing and the hearing of the people around them when they're at the range.
Awesome. So I have one more subject I want to touch on. It's going to be take you out of your comfort zone because it's not something we usually talk about. But before I get into that, I want to thank you from Joe Average Citizen to Gun Owners of America for everything you guys are doing, everything you did in Virginia, everything you've done in any other state where stuff pops off. You guys are always fighting the fight. I know I've said it many times on my channel, but from all of us, the gun owners, thank you very much. It means a lot.
Well, thank you, Jared. We really appreciate your channel and all you do and getting the word out, educating gun owners, helping us to get our word out, because without guys like you, we couldn't get our word out. So we appreciate it.
Thank you. So I'm going to take you out of your comfort zone. I want to ask you about taxes.
Okay.
Specifically, for those who may not know, there's a tax. It's a hidden tax that when you go to a when you go to buy a gun from an FFL, you're charged a tax from the manufacturer, right? That nobody knows about.
Correct.
Could you maybe educate the folks on that?
So, yep. So one of the reasons GOA came to SHOT is to deliver our no compromise message to the gun industry. And that includes not only manufacturers, but dealers, distributors, and media, as like Guns and Gadgets. So the tax that you're asking about is the Pittman-Robertson gun and ammunition tax. 83 years old this year. Was enacted in the 1930s as a mechanism to fund wildlife. To fund wildlife conservation and hunter education. The problem with the tax in the modern world, it's 11% on any long gun, rifles and shotguns, and ammunition, any ammunition, and 10% on handguns. Pretty high rates. It doesn't show up on your sales receipt. When you go to the gun dealer and you're buying a handgun or a rifle, you see your sales tax for your state, you know what you're paying for. This is paid by manufacturers at the wholesale level, directly to the federal government. It is a hidden tax because it doesn't show up on your sales receipt. Most gun owners don't know they're paying it. A lot of the state fish and wildlife agencies are not Second Amendment friendly.
Right.
I live in New Hampshire. The New Hampshire Fish and Game Department is filled to the brim, overflowing with anti-gun activists. They oppose constitutional carry. They oppose carrying guns on snowmobiles. They indoctrinate an anti-gun message into their hunter education classes to the point of they don't allow loaded concealed carry in their classrooms. That's an anti-gun message. That's an anti-Second Amendment message. and we're paying for it every time we buy a gun or ammunition. And because unlike the National Firearms Act tax, that's $200 fixed flat rate, this is a percentage. So when the price of a gun goes up with inflation, your 10% of your handgun that was $30 last year, when the gun goes up, it's $30.50 this year, and so forth and so on. What's particularly outrageous, the average self-defense handgun shooter is buying a handgun that is completely inappropriate for hunting. It's a self-defense gun, and that same handgun shooter is buying a lot of ammo to practice and train with. The average hunter, he buys a box of 20 cartridges, maybe sights in his rifle with 5, shoots wild game with 1. Self-defense and competitive shooters, they're buying thousands of rounds a year, so they're subsidizing a hobby for other people. They're not getting a benefit. Let's put it into real dollars for real people. Single mom, fixed income, limited budget, buying a $300 self-defense handgun. That's going to have $30 in tax built into that gun. $30 that young woman can go buy practice ammo to learn how to defend herself, and that's what the Second Amendment is all about.
Now, one of the reasons I specifically asked you about that is because my group that watches my stuff, they're very patriotic, and they don't believe in the frivolous stuff the government does. So in essence, we're actually being taxed to exercise our Second Amendment with the tools that the Second Amendment covers.
Correct.
So we're paying for our own right, and then the state taxes us on it as well, and then they use our funds to teach people that guns are bad.
Exactly.
That's why it's bad. That's why I brought it up. So now that you're upset, what can somebody do watching this in Idaho to help you guys kill this?
So if you go to gunowners.org, on the left-hand page, there's a link for op-ed articles. I put an article up. You click on op-ed. You're going to have to scroll back a little bit because I put it up in October and we have newer stuff.
I'll link it for you in the description. Be easy.
Thanks.
No worries.
It explains in great detail how the tax works, how it's funded, and how you can legally avoid not paying the tax.
So how can somebody legally avoid paying this tax?
So real quick in a nutshell, everybody knows that the serial numbered part, the receiver of the firearm, is considered a gun for Gun Control Act purposes, 4473 NICS check. For Tax Act purposes, it has to be a complete operating firearm. So you buy an AR-15, complete it runs, you're going to pay 10% of your $1,000 gun, so it's $100. You buy a stripped receiver, it's a gun, you got to do your NICS check and your 4473, but it's not a gun for Tax Act purposes. Sold tax-free, you build it for your own use, you keep it, you're not selling it. It is not for sale, it is for your use. You can assemble that AR-15 tax-free, completely legal. Ammunition, similar. Live ammunition, whether it is made from reused shells by a commercial reloader or it's factory fresh, that's taxed. Components are not taxed. Powder is not taxed. Reloading dies or equipment, they're not taxed. If you become a reloader, you can save about 50% on your handgun ammo and avoid the tax, so you're not going to fund anti-gun state wildlife agencies at the same time. So you get two benefits. You save money, you learn how to make your own ammo for times of shortages, and you don't fund the anti-gun wildlife agencies. There are people in the hunting world who want to extend Pittman-Robertson to reloading components, reloading tools, things like that. Obviously, we're going to fight that. We don't agree with it. But reloading will save you a lot of money, both in your ammo, your training costs, and will deprive these anti-gun outfits of the tax money to use against you.
Awesome. Hey, I think the IRS just subscribed to my channel.
Actually, that would be the ATF, Tax and Trade Bureau, but yes.
Hey, brother, thank you for your time. I appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Well, we appreciate Guns and Gadgets. Thank you for helping GOA.
Thank you. For more information, I'll have all the links for GOA and the article Alan's talking about down below. Make it easy for you. Guys and gals, this is stuff that like few people know about, but you absolutely should be aware of, because we're getting pillaged by the federal government and the Second Amendment community from every single way. So I'm just thought this would be a way to get you guys some insight in what you can do to stop it. So until we see each other again, this is Jared and Alan with Gun Owners of America. Be safe, stay vigilant, carry a weapon. Take care, everybody.